Welcome to PCCA's COVID-19 member briefing. It's a great honor to have you here with us this evening. Appreciate you taking time away from your busy schedules. Know you've got a lot going on. We just wanted to update you and brief you on some of the things that are happening here at PCCA related to everything that's happening. Just relating to the actual briefing itself here this evening, should you have any issues with anything going on, there's an email that you can send into avproduction@pccarx.com. Just make sure that if you have any problems, that you just go there, avproduction@pccarx.com, or you can text the issue to the number at the bottom of your screen. Also, we're going to be taking questions this evening, so we'll be speaking probably 15 or 20 minutes, Gus and I, and when we're done, there is a number at the bottom of your screen that you can text questions to, so feel free to do that along the way here. We thank you again for the opportunity to connect with you. It's in an era of isolation, it's just awesome to connect, even if it's via a camera and a little computer monitor. So I can just only imagine you out there and just know how much we love and appreciate you, respect the work that you're doing right now. Everything that's happening with patient needs is just amplifying and going up. We know that not only is COVID-19 a problem, but just people having access to the normal problems that everybody's having all the time. You're there to take care of them, and we are so grateful that our job is to be there to help support you. And know that that's one of the questions that people have. They're wondering about our viability here in Houston, Texas, major metropolitan city, apt to have all kinds of governmental things happen. Of course, we can't control what the government's going to do, but we can't imagine that the government would have any interest in shutting down essential care. And we absolutely consider ourselves essential here at PCCA, essential to making sure you've got continuity of ability to perform your jobs. So we're doing everything that we can to make sure that that's all going forward. One of the things that we have done is here in-house with our own staff is just to make sure that they are armed with one in their briefcases or whatever they take home. They've got a letter from me that states to law enforcement or anybody, should we end up in some kind of special order that requires people to be home, they've got a letter that outlines why they're important and essential to the healthcare here. We've actually registered all of that with the health department, and anyway, all of that's there. That may be something you want to do for your employees if you've not already done so, and if you'd like to see a copy of our letter, just let us know here via the email. We'd like to get that out, or we'll find a resource to make that happen. Anyway, our members, our teammates here at PCCA, we've got a number of them that are working from home right now. Everybody has an essential job. We sometimes hear the term non-essential personnel. That doesn't exist here at PCCA because it takes all of us to get everything happening that you need. So with everybody being essential, we do have a number of jobs that can proficiently be done at home, and those jobs we've got people at home. Running a GMP facility is not something you can do from home. So this is something that we've got a facility here that we've got to maintain. Our GMPs and standards require to be there. You've got the same situation in your pharmacies. You can't fill prescriptions from your house. So anyway, this is important that we have a lot of team members here, so we take a lot of precautions, just like you are, to make sure that everything's there. We've got social distancing. We've definitely got a lot of cleaning and sanitation that is taking place. We have put travel bans on our people. We've limited the people who are coming into our building. All of these things that are prudent. And know that some of you have done these things and many more, but we've got a lot going to make sure we keep our staff safe, and that's all there. One of the things that I found important, I've seen some of you are doing this as well, is splitting up our shifts of people. So we've got essential functions that we can split the shifts up, and we're doing that so that we can, if something were to happen with one group of people, we don't lose the production capacity from the whole team, for the whole team. So we can bring in the other shift and make that happen. So that's happening around our building, just to make sure we've got some redundancy to take care of all of your needs. So these are all things that are happening on our end. All the keep safe rules are really important to us right now, and I thank you for recognizing that It takes a lot to make all of these things happen. Sometimes you wonder how you get any work done taking care of all the extra stuff. Well, you're not alone with that. We've got that happening, but I promise you, we are all oars in the water, making sure things are happening to make sure your orders are out the door, make sure your questions are being answered, that all your needs are being fulfilled. We've been working closely with NCPA, APC. We've been working with members. We've been working with our other partners that we have. Our advocacy team and our communications team have been working with them to help promote the idea that compounding is a good thing. And that's always important to us, but now we've got so many great examples happening in the media. We're doing our best to highlight those and make sure that the common environment in which compounding takes place is seen in a good eye. And I thank all of you for your wonderful efforts. And one of them that I know going on, some of the things happening is with the hydroxychloroquine. We're seeing the huge demand for the product, so that's kind of a whole nother thing going on. But it's in the news, and know that some of you are out there taking advantage of those opportunities to make the good works you're doing known, and know that it's of interest to people. So you may seek some of those opportunities. Work closely with our communications people if you need to as well. And then the hand sanitizer, just watching the posture of the FDA change and be able to make it where compounders can put that out there without you having any fears of retribution from the FDA. I think that's been pretty amazing, and we did our part along with our other partners to make sure that that was all happening. So grateful for all hands are in on this, making sure that you're seen in the best light possible and that you can continue to do your great work. We're focused on pharmacies and making sure that pharmacies are able to have the products that they need. This is a challenge at this time. We know that there are things that we've got runs on, and we run out of it. Our supply chain has been back in China. I'll let Gus talk a little bit more about all of that. There's some good and bad that's associated with all of that. Most of the bad, it has to do with uncertainty of, can we fill your order? The questions we get are, how quickly can I get XYZ in? And those are difficult questions to answer right now for a lot of reasons. So I just hope you know that we have got the best resources on those topics and that we are doing our best to get things in. We've always tried to make things where we're not committing. We know something will be in at a certain date. We have seen so many ways that things can fall apart for something that we have planned to come in. So thank you for your patience on all of that. Thank you for your trust in us to be able to pull in the products that you need to help your patients. We're here 24/7. Where this is what we do. This is what our passion is and where we come from. Everything about what we're doing here at PCCA has to do with making sure you're up and that you're functioning and able to serve people the way you want to. It's an honor. It's a pleasure and a privilege. Gus, I know you've got some things you want to cover.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jim. And as Jim just stated, I mean, we're all hands on deck. I think our team has just been doing phenomenally, especially our operations team, and getting product out, and the buyers who interface with our manufacturers around the globe have just been working overtime, and it's just great to be here, Jim, with you, socially distanced, of course, at another table.
Yeah.
But a couple things I wanted to highlight for all of you, and I'm sure you're very interested in knowing about a few different topics. One, just to assure you that our clinical services team, as many of you know, it's been a decentralized team for many years. And so when we encounter an event like this, I mean, it's just like any other day, to be frank. They're going to do their jobs and be there for you to answer your questions. Same thing with our formulation development team and our R&D team. Now, those teams, they do require lab time. And so we have worked with some split shift type arrangements to ensure that we don't have everybody in a laboratory at one time, but everybody understands that we are an essential business and part of the healthcare supply chain, and we're here to support all of you in the field so that you can take care of your patients. That's our top priority. A couple of supply chain points I wanted to just expand on from what Jim was just saying. I know there's a lot of interest in hydroxychloroquine, especially in light of the French study There's been a lot of interest in this. The president talked about it. There's been a lot of national media attention on it. And because of that, there has been a global run on this particular ingredient. And we've got in excess of 1,000 different orders for hydroxychloroquine in the system. I wish we could stand here tonight and tell you that we had X amount of kilos that will be in here at X date. But I can't. I can tell you that we've got a substantial amount on order, and we've got confirmed orders in the system. We're working daily with those manufacturers, and we hope to have some really good news to share. But in this dynamic environment, we're just kind of keeping it close to the vest at the moment, and just know that we are working hard, and we will work to fulfill all of those orders as soon as they come in. A couple tidbits also, just from the global supply chain, and talking to Fabian today. He's hearing from our manufacturers in China that it's getting back to a little bit more normalcy there, which is nice to hear. And just so you guys know, the shipping companies like FedEx, I mean, they have been working through this whole entire pandemic. Certainly the commercial flights that normally carry human beings across the globe, those are shut down, and that does affect the supply chain because sometimes cargo are on those same jets. But the FedExes of the world and the UPSs of the world and DHLs of the world are still working, and we're still seeing product being moved.
I thought that was just great news as I was visiting with Fabian today, hearing that things are normalizing over there because so much of the supply of APIs does come from China. It is awesome to see that they're getting back to a normal, and what that means to us and our business and our customers is that the supply chain is going to be flowing. So that's a really positive thing.
Yeah, and the manufacturers are responding. You know, they're ramping up, and you know, we have our demand, and then of course the pharmaceutical manufacturers have their demand, and it's tremendous right now. So
I think that's also a great foreshadowing of hope for us that we can get our economy restarted and get things back going in terms of our production as a country.
Absolutely. The other items such as ethanol and isopropyl alcohol and the things that are being used to make hand sanitizers, and we've heard great stories of compounders stepping up to the plate and providing hand sanitizers to the first responders, and that's just tremendous. We've got some great news there. We seem to have a decent supply of that coming in on a kind of continual basis. Now, granted, it goes out the door pretty much as soon as it comes in, but Fabian tells us that here in the United States, there's some great ethanol production.
Hey, I tell you, if we do anything well in the United States, it's make alcohol. We can do it.
There's no doubt about that. The other drug that's come into play recently is azithromycin. Yeah. And both hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin were drugs that we customarily carried. Granted, they weren't big demand products until this whole pandemic, but with the combination of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin getting some press from the French study, there's been great demand on that as well. So we are working with our manufacturer there to replenish the supplies that are going out the door. The other piece of this, and you know, there are a number of items like containers. There's other excipients, hydroxypropylcellulose, hydroxyethylcellulose, you know, things of that nature. Those have all been under high demand, and just know that our buyers are continuing to work hard to get those things replenished as well, so that you guys can continue to do your jobs. But I think those were the main products that we're seeing a lot of movement on right now, Jim, and I'm really pleased with where things are going. You know, the good news
we're
is
do what we can to get everything in here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Because hydroxychloroquine was a drug that we had worked with in the past, our formulations team already had formulations in our system, and we also had a Formula Plus formula that had undergone BUD studies and it was an oral suspension formulation, and so that was a bit of a coincidence in terms of just the fact that we had that and ready to go, but it's been a great resource for our customers in the field. I wanted to point out that as a resource, we do have a COVID-19 resource center. It's part of the banner ad that is on the top of the website. If you go there, you can click on it. There's a number of different resources in there. In fact, we've also uploaded the NCPA's National COVID-19 teleconference. If you go under the resources link, you'll see that in there, and there's a recording there. So that's a good
probably
piece.
where we'll put that letter that we were talking
Okay.
about earlier in the briefing.
Good deal. I think Jim. In terms of I've talked about the formulations. I've talked about the supply chain, specifically on these items that people I know are concerned about. The fact that the clinical services team is here, ready, 24/7. All hands on deck. We're here. We're planning on being here, even if for some reason Houston decides to shut down. We've got our letters from you and in our car, so we can get through, and we'll be down packing boxes.
My letter, Gus. I'm one who says, "This is from Jim Smith." Who are you? I'm Jim Smith.
That's right.
I better have some more credentials.
Listen, whatever it takes, but just know that we're planning on being here, and
Good.
we're just so proud of all of you and the work that you're doing out there. I think that's all I really had to say on my end. I don't know.
I think we're done, Gus. I think what we need to do now is just listen to questions and take any questions that we have. So we're going to be open for that. If you'll just text them to the number that's there at the bottom of your screen. If you don't see it, it's 281-643-7100.
Yeah. And I can say, while we're waiting for some questions to come in, there's already been some people asking for that letter to be put on the Resource Center. So it's on there right now. We just put it up there right now for those of you listening. So feel free to use it and edit it and make it work for your team. And I'm just pausing, waiting for any questions that might be popping in.
We'll take any answers too.
I will say, while I'm just giving some time, I know if Lizzie were here, she'd probably be talking about all the great press and the PR that's out there.
Got a great story. It's been an incredible week.
Just
Her and Kim
highlighting
have been going crazy.
what compounding can do in times of shortage, and this is a great opportunity to highlight what the value that compounding has in our healthcare system. So it's been cool to watch.
Great. Any questions coming through there, Gus?
No, just a couple comments there, but
Okay.
all positive, but no questions as of yet.
Well, thank you for your positive comments.
Okay.
We appreciate that.
In light of no questions, I guess we'll give everybody's evening back, and
Thanks for making time for us, everybody.
thank you for joining us
You
tonight.
guys are amazing, and we love serving you. Thank you.